happened from the 10th to the 18th. Just so amazing. Got to be in a thing with Ed Hirsch, which was just so phenomenal. If y'all aren't familiar with Ed Hirsch, he's not only one of our greatest poets right now, he's just as far as a scholar of poetry and just an amazing, amazing person. So that just made my year.
Indeed.
Michael.
Yeah. Yes.
I've been wanting to ask you, I assume that those paintings in the background are yours?
Yeah, it's my stuff.
Are they just have a feel of maturity? They've been around for a while?
Well,
or are some of them
I
fresh?
don't usually hear the word mature in me in the same sentence, but
my
yeah,
standards are completely,
Yeah, I mean they range over quite a number of years, but most of them actually, vast majority of the stuff there is actually from the last few years before I quit painting, which was around 2015 or so is when I quit painting.
Thank you, sir.
But there's like this tie thing there that's from like 1978, I guess. So there's a range.
Well, sometime you have to arrange a live art show, tour us through your gallery and describe your pieces. Gregory, you too, sir.
Yeah, got paintings in progress behind me and trying to get back into it. And it's just, there's no art shows really going on right now. And I sort of haven't been building up to making a lot of art, but I'm trying to get back in the swing of it. And I've got this canvas and I've got about 3 others that are waiting to be finished. I just have to hunker down.
I hear you.
Yeah.
I'm a big fan of sketching from nature, and I've been doing a series of treatments of this rock, and I've done it in a couple different medium, and I've been very happy with what the experiments are going so far. But having just drawn a couple fresh ones the other day, I set the rock back out on my front porch where it is being seasoned by the weather. And heck, I noticed this morning, a couple birds must have dropped by and made their own modifications.
Yeah, we got another good artist just jumped in here, Martin. Yeah, if anybody's familiar with his calligraphy work, it's amazing.
Oh, okay, right.
Thank you, Michael.
Welcome, Martin. I have enjoyed your word art, particularly that unicorn one comes to mind.
Glad you like it. Put it on it.
I just bought tickets to a show in October, a little pricier than I'd really hoped, but Steve Martin and Martin Short are coming to Knoxville in October.
Oh, I've seen.
So I decided.
I've seen.
The
They have a
funny
Netflix.
thing was, I'm sorry.
I was just saying they have a Netflix special. I watched a few years ago that was really good.
I've seen it.
Yeah,
Oh,
I'm on the. I just finished the 2nd or 3rd episode of the 2nd season. It's really funny, and I was really surprised because I didn't really know anything about what is her name, the young woman who's on there who sort of plays the straight man to both of them. I can't think of her name now, but anyway, she.
We don't know either.
I should look it up.
Meryl Streep. No, am I wrong?
No, hold on.
Could be Meryl Streep You know,
It's not Meryl
she
Streep.
can play anybody, you know, it could be her.
Selena Gomez.
Thank you.
Oh,
And she actually does a really good job holding up to both of them. I mean, she's really actually quite funny, just being very, very the ultimate straight man to them. And I think she does a very good job. You know, because you don't expect that from the kind of Nickelodeon Disney Channel kids. And
Well, she's not really a Nickelodeon kid anymore. She's really a really good singer, believe it or not.
yeah.
Yes.
No, I know she's
Some
like a pop
great
star.
songs.
Yeah, she is good.
I know she's a pop star and everything, but you just don't expect them to be
Right.
as good an actress, and she really holds up. And I'm loving the show. I'm really am.
Yeah, well, you wouldn't expect the two of them to like bring on somebody slack. They're pretty professional.
Well, I was surprised to see that Weird Al is playing around the same time. And I've seen him a couple times in the past, but believe it or not, tickets for Weird Al were more expensive than for Martin and Short, and they were not cheap.
well, Weird Al does put on a great show. I've seen him a couple of times too. He's
probably got a lot of things, but I don't know. That's just ticket prices are so ridiculous anymore, you know.
Some popularity too. So
Yeah. I remember like the first time Prince played Columbia, South Carolina, where I lived, it was $3 for a ticket. So, yeah.
back when I was in high school, Jethro Tull tickets were $75. We thought tickets could never should never be that high. Now that's an average price anymore.
That was the first show I ever saw was Tull. I think it was about maybe $5 at the most.
Them a few years later, and it was more like 25. But I don't know what was going on with the $75 show. They were really popular at the time.
Oh, I want to say hello and welcome to everyone who checked in while I was over in my other tab. It's really cool to see you all. We've got several new voices with us tonight. We're going to get started in just a minute. I'm super excited to hear from everybody. And I'm wondering, I'm not 100% on the pronunciation of everybody's names. And I was thinking just this once, it might be cool to go around and just everybody unmute and say hi and introduce ourselves with the pronunciation we prefer. If you're into that, you know.
Well, I am shocked that Independence Day weekend, someone from the UK would have the unmitigated gall to come and join in this online.
Oh, only one someone, was it?
I see at least one imperialist.
Well, I mean, we got Rhoda, who's about as anti-imperialist.
Anti-imperialist.
Rhoda,
I'm definitely anti-imperialist. Yeah.
She's been quite.
I didn't see you there, Rhoda.
I've been at the Marxism conference all day, so I'm.
Yeah.
I didn't see you down there.
But we do have the actual queen here, so. Yeah.
Oh, respect. Okay.
Clive, take us back, please, Clive. Rhoda, we're sorry.
I also want to say hi to Karen Scott. I am checking my list. I don't think you're on it, maybe under another name, but I just want to say if anybody who's here is not on the list and would like to join, speak up or send me a message, I'm going to try and catch up with the chat right now. It's right around 5 o'clock. I'm going to say I'm Christine Hall. I'm the host of Poetry in the Brew. I would love if you all just, hi, welcome. It's so good to have you with us. You know what I say, this show is what you make it. So thank you for making it. We're online the first Saturday of every month. I would really, really love today for everyone to just take a moment and unmute and introduce yourselves. One thing I don't know about Zoom is if everybody's tiles are in the same order, but if we just kind of go left to right, I don't know. Let's find out if they are. They're not. Michael Sindler says they're not. Why is that?
You can actually, there's a feature where you could lock them all into an order, but that's, yeah, I think pretty much everybody's seeing a different.
Really? Who's in your upper left?
upper left is
You're
you.
in mine.
You're in my upper
You're in
Yeah,
left.
our
that's
upper
typical for the host to be in the upper
Right.
left. But
And
after
then
that,
after that,
I got Bonnie and then Jeff.
I do
And then the
too.
next row down, Jay, Gregory.
I do
Rick.
too.
Okay.
I do
so we're
too.
cool. We're good for now.
So that's Michael Sindler. So now we're going to follow this order. And if you don't mind, Bonnie, if you don't mind saying hi, and then we'll just go through that order. I think it might work. Let's find out.
Okay, hello, I'm Bonnie Solloway, looking for a new country.
We got Jeff. You want to say something?
I'm Jeff. If you want a new country, I'm in Canada. We have poutine for you. We might force you to hunt beavers or play hockey or something.
I'm there.
What else you want to know? A mayor?
I said I'm there.
You're there? Oh, okay. Yeah. You've heard of, I'm from Toronto. You've heard of our old mayor, Rob Ford, but he's dead now, so he can't hurt you anymore.
Say your last name for us, Jeff.
Cottrill.
Cottrill.
But I don't correct people when they say Cottrill.
No,
It
you
sounds
sure
classy.
don't. That's
It sounds
right.
classy. It sounds classier. So, I mean, Cottrill is fine. Add an I at the end and I'm Italian. Cotrilli.
So flexible. Italian hands. Okay, Jay, would you mind introducing yourself to the group, please?
Good evening, everyone. My name's Jay Rosanna, she, her, and I am also from the United Kingdom. And it's lovely to be here tonight. And it's very, very late here.
Yes. You're part of what we call the Midnight Poets. We'll be moving into that midnight hour soon. Really excited to have you with us. And then we've got Gregory. You want to say howdy?
Hello. I'm just here to listen and watch and support today. I'm from Tennessee, and I would move to Canada, Jeff, but the climate in Canada is quite unlike Tennessee, and I've gotten used to this. So, thanks, but no thanks. But just glad to be here and looking forward to a great evening of poetry.
Awesome. Thank you. And now, Rick, if you want to give your full name and your little rundown, welcome.
Sure. My name is Rick Spisak. I have the good fortune to have relocated from Florida to Tennessee mountains with COVID. And I'm just thrilled to be here as part of a Tennessee sort of based event. Thank you so much. I know so many of you wonderful people, and I look forward to hearing the ones that I haven't heard yet. So Rick Spisak.
Rick Spisak, super groovy to have you with us. Thank you and welcome to the Brew. Linda, it's your first time with us too. Would you please give us a little intro?
Hi, my name's Linda Wlodyka, and I'm from Massachusetts in the western part, closer to Vermont and New York State. And I saw this come through Facebook, so I signed up.
Oh, I love it. Linda Wlodyka, is that correct?
Wlodyka, yes.
Okay, wonderful. So glad you're with us. Fantastic. Martin, you want to say hi?
Martin Parker, or sometimes go by my nickname Parquillian. I'm a language fanatic who's originally from the Philadelphia area, but have lived in DC for many years, and just enjoy being able to getting up the nerve to share my poetry lately.
Oh, thank you, Martin. Oh, so cool to have you join. And now we have another new voice.
Really got up the nerve to do so.
Aha, yes, we help each other with that, don't we? We do. It is explicit express permission, and we carry that forth into the world too. Practice using our voices. Wow, so many new voices tonight for us at the Brew. Very excited. I am sorry in advance that I cannot pronounce your first name without hearing you say it, but Guntis, would you please let us know, introduce?
You pronounce it exactly as it is.
Oh, phew!
Yeah, I'm originally from Latvia, but I now live in England, in Derby, like 13 years now, my favorite number. I do poetry and comedy as well.
Oh.
Yeah, I'm glad to be here.
Looking forward to hearing from you. Thank you, Guntis. Wonderful to meet. And Serge, would you like to introduce yourself?
Likewise.
Thank you.
All right. My name is government name is Sergio Raymond Rodriguez. I grew up in Gary, Indiana. For those unfamiliar, it's like right outside of Chicago. It's like a 7-minute train ride. So it's like New Jersey is to New York City. So 1984, son of a steel worker and a Marine and a crazy housewife, and they're both now gone. But I will put some links in the description. I have a short story anthology out and 3 novels that I've published. So if you get interested, cool. And I'm gonna release a short story, a poetry anthology before the end of this year. I do have 2 bachelor's degrees in English literature and English writing. And anybody who does know me, yes, I have a new haircut and a new beard cut. So we're good there. So looking forward to read tonight because I already read once today in person for the first time in 2.5 years. So we're good.
Ooh, okay. Excellent. Thank you. Clive, the Queen. Hello.
Hello. I'm Clive Oseman. I live in Swindon in England, which is an absolute crap hole. And I'm from Birmingham originally and I want to go back. And I'm a bit of a nutcase. And occasionally I appear as Her Majesty the Queen.
Even better than the original. Thank you so much, Clive. Hello, Rhoda.
Oh, hello. Well, when the pandemic hit and I was introduced to Brew, I think it was about 3 years ago now, it saved my life really. And ever since then, I've been doing all sorts of things on Zoom. But I'm delighted to be here with Brew again, as I have on many occasions. I grew up in London, but I have lived in Wales, which is definitely not England, for 40 years. And the poem I'm going to read tonight is all about Wales and its relationship to England.
Magnificent. Thank you, Rhoda. Katie, hello. So glad you're here tonight. You're welcome to introduce yourself if you want. We're just going around saying hi tonight. We've got so many new voices with us.
Okay. Yeah, just a minute. Hey, I'm doing double duty on making dinner here. I'm Katie, and I got started with the brew through my friend Franchesa, who introduced me to here. And I like to write, and I like to share.
Yay! Thank you, Katie. So glad you're here tonight. And Rawle, I apologize if I did not say your name correctly. If you could correct me if that's so. But thank you so much for joining us.
No, thank you for having me. And it's Rawle. It's a silent E. Rawle James. Originally born in Trinidad, grew up in the States in the early part of my life, and I now live in Toronto, Canada. For Gregory and any other Americans that want to come to Canada, we're a bigger country than you, and we have multiple climates. I'm pretty sure you could find a place here in Canada that you can call home if you so desire.
I have
I'm a poet, and I look forward to sharing and listening. So,
Rawle, thank you so much. We really appreciate you joining us. And yes, Canada is most fantastic. I am from upstate New York personally and made frequent trips there in my youth. Karen, you're here. I don't have you on the list, but if you want to be on the list, you're so welcome. And if you want to say hi, you're welcome to do that.
Christine, you can go ahead and add me to the list. And
wonderful.
I'm Karen Scott in Columbus, Ohio. And I'm not really looking for another country because my ancestors invested too much in this one for me to leave it.
Oh, wow. Yes. Thank you for pointing that out, Karen. Yeah, I'm really glad to have you with us. Super grateful and looking forward to hearing from you more. Tim, hello and welcome.
Hi, I'm Tim Evans. I'm in South Wales, which is sort of like next to England. Although the UK is sort of breaking up at the moment. So I'm just hoping that I go with a bit that goes away from England. But there you go. Anyway, one of the good things about the pandemic was actually finding this international community of poets. And so it's great to be tonight. Thanks for inviting me, not inviting me, but
well, you are invited. Yeah. Oh, you are a boon and a boost to our community. Thank you, Tim. And also, since I've got you on standby for early, I'm just putting it in your mind that in just a moment here, when we finish our intros, you might want to just do your poetry to start us off before we start with the list that I had set, if you're open to that.
Sure, that'll be fine.
Okay, cool. Be just a moment. Then we get to say
Sorry.
hi to Phynne Belle next. Hello, Phynne Belle. Welcome. I bet everyone knows you, but if you want to say hi and if you got anything to plug, go for it.
Hi everyone, I'm Phynne Belle. I am a poet from the San Francisco Bay Area. I'm also with the Poetry Global Network, and most of y'all know me, so yeah, that's that. I have Fincabulary, which happens on Thursdays. That's my open mic, among other things. Thanks.
Among so many wonderful other things. Thank you so much for being here, Phynne Belle. Caroline Minter, hello.
Hi, everyone. Caroline Minter, hailing from Chicago, the Windy City. I go by words in my mouth, and I'm so excited to see everyone and be here this first Saturday. Get to hear some new poetry.
Awesome to be with you. Thank you, Caroline. Generalissimo Bryan, Franco, hello.
Well, actually, today my name is Jane Entz. I was just named the National Beat Poet Laureate of California, so we should all send a note to Dane today congratulating him on his new title.
Yeah, I think as Beardos, we all deserve it as a trio, though. We're part of that.
Oh
To a degree, yes, we are. But I just wanted to make the announcement about Dane, and he's all of our friend, and I just wanted to say how much he has meant to me in the past 2.5, 3 years. And of course, I met him through this place. So, this place has just been, one of the 4 or 5 places that were the first open mics that I just found a home at, that just feels like a comfortable old couch every time I'm here. So thank you, Christine, and thank you everybody from Nashville, and even the people from Canada and the pink blankets as well. So and thank you, Queen Clive.
Thank you.
I love everybody here. It's just such a great place. So thanks.
Ooh, we love you. Ooh, and we're going to hear from you soon. Thank you. I want to say hi to Terri Rose Jertson. The rest of the folks, you don't have your cameras on, but if you want to unmute and say hi, you're so welcome. Yes, hi. Hi. Welcome. Anyone who wants to intro, just go ahead. Go start talking. We're going to wrap this up and get into hi. Oh, Pen of the People, I see you waving. I'm wondering if I have you on my list or if you would like to be on the list. You're muted, though. You're muted. I can't hear you. I want to hear you.
Still muted.
I'm sorry. I'm dumb. I'm sorry. I'm under Jennifer Nuesi, so I normally go by Pen of the People or my real name. So I'm on the bottom of the list. I think I'm number like 23.
23. I see you. You would like to be introduced as Pen of the People?
Either way, doesn't matter. I'm sweaty and gross, so I was just like, let me hide myself from the mic right now.
You're wonderful, and I'm so glad you're with us. Thank you.
You look
And we'll
fine,
hear
by
from you
the
more
way.
later.
She's an awesome poet, Christine. I just wanted to tell everyone, I also wanted to tell everyone that if you're not doing anything from 5:30 to 7:45 on Monday, I am hosting a Cafe Generalissimo. So
Oh, yes. And you're putting that in the chat, right? And everybody's saving the chat because I see there's already too much for me to keep up with. But we're going to say hi to everybody. So let's go ahead and say, Terri, I see you turned on your camera. Let's say hi. You've got a new mug this week, too.
This is my book. It's for sale. Chameleon Chronicle. Thank you.
Yay, congratulations. Oh, yes. Give us all the info. And Ed, say hello, Poetastic.
Hello, I love this place, but I won't let time go to waste. You all remember me before. I love to rhyme inside my core forevermore. My name is Ed Poetastic, feeling fantastic. Please give me time to join my rhyme for all feel sublime. I'm a DC native, so my name is Edward Foreman, and I'm happy to be here.
Oh, so happy you're here. Thank you and welcome. Yes, that was a fun one. Ring. So wrong. And now we have Franchesa. Hello, Franchesa. Welcome.
I am here in Nashville too, and I just love
everybody too, like Generalissimo was saying. So yeah, Franchesa Kirkpatrick is how to say my name. Some people try to get it, you know, cross-tied and tongued and all that kind of stuff and put the other stuff on it. Even I had something happen last night where people were like, can we call you this? Can we call you that? And I'm like, just say my name. I'm just gonna give it, you know. But anyway, I've been called so many different things, and yeah. But you know, I'm not gonna be offended, I guess, because like I said, you know, it's just one of those things that people do sometimes, slip of the tongue, or you know, add letters, add numbers, add everything, add it all.
Emojis even. Well, the heart suits you for
Make
sure.
it fun for me. I made a song. I made a song for all the people who mispronounced everything, and it turned out to be quite wonderful. So anyway,
thank you,
everybody. Yep, can't wait to hear you.
We're going to talk to you again real soon. You're early on the list. We've got Greg. We're going to say hi to. Hello, Greg.
Hey, yeah, Greg Slade. I'm here in Nashville. From Michigan originally, but been to the live brew and the online brew, and good to see everybody.
Awesome. Okay, have we said hi to everybody? Anybody else got a word to slip in before we start this list? Okay, wonderful. I'm so excited to hear from you all. As you know, I'm going to go ahead and put us in the speaker view and welcome for our bonus opening. Hooray. Thank you and welcome, Tim Evans.
Okay, hey guys. The poem mentions the Lacha. The Lacha is a river that separates Carmarthenshire from Glamorganshire, and you got to cross over a bridge to get to it, and this is called Crossing the Lacha. What is invisible is the strongest, is the most powerful. It is so much part of the world, it cannot be seen. It exists everywhere, inside, outside, in multivarious forms, shimmering beyond Pencloud with its wandering beasts and its lava bread, shape-shifting into cellular reality, into tears, into sweat, into rivers, into streams, into oceans, into dreams. Here, the sea is everywhere. I am sea. Crossing the estuary, the water of my body cries seaward. Peninsula hovering in the haze of Carmarthen Bay, ragged humps dinosaur, the rusted splendor of Whiteford Lighthouse, acrid marshland, salvation and escape to these landlocked, a sea of hope, but one whose black deeps cough up the dead. Awful in their pain are these waters, these oceans, in their beauty, their monstrous imperfection, their fearsome and terrible pride, forever changing beyond our breaths, our little deaths. They persist centuries wide, broad as time and half as long as luck, an hourglass and a rolling dice, an invisible power existing everywhere and always at its strongest just before dawn. And crossing the Lacha, I am sea. The water of my body cries to seaward, and I am everywhere. That's one. Have you got time for another one? Have another one? Okay. That was about the Lacha. This is about something different, and it's called All Refugees. Today, we have passed through wet streets, dreaming of the glory days that we thought would never end. But even today, here, now, there are differences. There, broken curls of smoke rising from the rubble, crawling its way into the sunlight. Here, leaves, apple blossoms, untouched by flame. There, the shouts of weapons. Here, a sky like a starling's egg. There, skin caked with blood. Here, a sort of peace. There, steam rising from carcasses of scorched vehicles. Here, some safety, and all safety is sweet, but all is conditional. There, the conditions simply vanished one day, swept away with brains and limbs and all the other delicate intricacies of people's lives, so that now there is no safety. Not there, not here, not anywhere. Because everywhere the people of the earth are bound together, whether they know it or not, and rulers and generals who murder the people of another country, Iraq, Afghanistan, Ukraine, Yemen, Palestine, will tomorrow turn on the people of their own, have a strange habit of coming home. So today we passed through wet streets and we dreamed of those far off glory days, because today we're all refugees. Thank you, guys. Thanks for listening. Thanks for the opportunity to speak that to so many of you. Thank you. Thank you.
Tim Evans, so appreciated your voice and your perspective and you bringing it here to share with us. Thank you very much. Exactly as needed. Yes. We next welcome and thank you, Franchesa Kirkpatrick.
Hello. I have just a short one here. A haiku. The stars are fireworks, ancestors gazing above, clues of night sky love. Thanks.
Oh, Franchesa! Living up to the delight you are. That was gorgeous. And if you don't mind dropping that in the chat, I would love to have the words in print to look at as well from you. Magnificent.
You got it.
Thank you, Franchesa. We next welcome a new voice on our mic with great gratitude. Thank you, J. Rose. Anna.
Hello, everyone. Thank you. This piece is called Manhattan to Mars. Just a less than ordinary girl, finding herself in a busy, ordinary world. Walking the streets of Manhattan, wondering, when does my life happen? She's just a less than ordinary checkout girl aboard her conveyor of hope, with flashing lights and whirring sounds. A control panel of a space machine outbound. And she's heading out to Mars to explore the cosmos and find herself adrift amidst the blackness. The dark blackness vacuum of space, sucking in air and choking on the bitter chill or the bitter pill of no thank you, Jack or Jill rejection, because dead naming has become an infection. And she sits there on her swivel chair, tied back hair, her hazel eyes and her hazel hair, and she swivels gently on her hair swivel hazel chair. Would you like help packing? And she dreams of landing on the angry red planet, the angry neighbor, free, misunderstood, angry planet, and every barcode scanned is a message from home. A Morse code message of hope and love from unknown faces that died so long ago. And she's adrift in the vast, empty vastness of the nothingness they called a cosmosless world out there, where everybody is apart, free from the empty space between us. In the empty vacuum of blankness and lookaways and not todays, the vast, blank, empty canvas of a cosmosless stare to a swivel chair. Are you a boy or a girl? Do you really care? How would you like to pay? And the conveyor squeaks like the radio speaks from millions of miles away. A message from home interset with static aplenty. And that radio squeak and static speak of 2-for-1s on oxygen tanks and dry packaged food and bottled water hydrates her existence from the meter-squared cubicle until her next break, where she gets to buy a cup of rotten tea and look upon a stale old sandwich after staring at the wares of the shoppers, unaware of the deals aplenty everywhere and everywhere, all you could imagine in the deal-breaking aisle of empty hope and the black vastness of the supermarket stack, the black stack, vast stack of supermarket crack in the empty, cosmosless blank space between us, rack after rack, grab all you can pack. Would you like any cash back? She's just a less than ordinary girl on the red dust of ground up rust, a must rust dust less than ordinary hazel-haired girl from the streets of Manhattan. Dreaming big of discovering life out there, her life, any life, first contact, 0-hour contract, anyone, anywhere, hazel or not, she doesn't care. Just a signal, even a rumble on the cold, dead world from her hazel swivel chair, and she ties back again her ragged hazel hair. Would you like a bag for life? What life? Life left long ago and is adrift in the void out there with less than ordinary hazel hair, in the vast, black, empty nothingness of the empty blank space filled with less than ordinary hazel despair, and she's swiveling there on a lonely, less than ordinary hazel chair. Have you seen her? That checkout girl from Manhattan who dreams big of going to Mars. Well, she's a minute late on her 10-minute break, and maybe she's a little tired. When she returns, will someone tell her she's fired? Thank you so much.
Ooh. Oh, Jade Rose, Anna. Oh, deft and exquisite use of language. Ooh, the reverberance. Thank you so much for sharing that with us. I really do hope that you return and we get to hear more from you. Oh, lovely having you with us. Thank you. We next welcome back, Phynne Belle.
Hi, did you say Phynne Belle?
Phynne Belle, Phynne Belle.
Thank you. I don't know why I have to follow that magnificent piece. Oh my goodness. So I don't have a poem to share today. I was just tinkering around this morning with a funny story. I wanted to create a fairy tale. So I created a fairy tale for Ed Poetastic, who's actually here today. So bear with me, it's really silly. And I'm gonna time myself because I don't wanna go over, it went a little over long and every which way. Okay, here we go. Optimistic Eddie, the cunning witch, and the forest troll. Once upon a time, there was an optimistic boy called Ed Poetastic. He was on his way to see his dearest friend, Rosita Rosette, who lived in the next town. Though it was safer to go by carriage along the main roads, it was also a quarter day's travel. So Ed decided to take a shortcut through Bumblebee Reservoir, the vast dense forest between his town and Rosita's. It wasn't long before Ed became lost. He looked around, trying to locate familiar landmarks, but all he could see were tall, oddly shaped trees. Feeling unusually nervous and needing reassurance, he reached into his bag for his favorite toy, popcorn, a tiny plush ball fashioned to look like a unicorn. Even with Ed's gentle handling, as with most well-loved items over the years, popcorn's once iridescent, multi-hued tail had worn down to a stub. Nevertheless, his consistent presence never failed to make Ed smile, so he took the toy with him everywhere. But Popcorn, the miniature stub-tailed unicorn, was nowhere to be found. Ed began to panic. He felt sure he had packed Popcorn this morning. He checked once more in all the satchel's pockets and corners, nothing. He retraced his steps backward, still nothing. Ed was beginning to become more and more worried, and to make matters worse, all this strenuous walking was making him feel hungry. He sat down on a tree stump and considered his dilemma. He had neglected to bring along some bread for his journey, but he did remember to pack his flint. He could forage in the forest for wild mushrooms and edible flowers and create a small fire to toast them on. He began his search, finding a few mushrooms that resembled the petticoats of fine ladies, and under the shade of lower bushes, some that were as fluffy and creamy as a lamb's wool. As Ed was gathering clover and carefully placing them in his bag for later, a troll wearing a bright silk around his neck ran by and then disappeared into the trees. How odd, thought Ed. Flowers momentarily forgotten, curiosity got the better of Ed, and he began to follow the peculiarly dressed troll. Perhaps if he caught up to it, he could even tell him the way out of the forest. Goodness, was the troll light and fleet on his tree trunk limbs? Eventually, Ed lost sight of his whereabouts, but soon arrived at a clearing. In the clearing were two houses, one that looked exactly like a giant broccoli, and the other made from super burrito. Ed could feel his tummy rumbling. Looking at the house did nothing to ease his hunger. "Hello?" he called. "Is anybody there?" Nobody replied. Ed eyed the roof on the closest house and wondered if it would be rude to eat somebody else's chimney. Obviously, it would be impolite to eat a whole house, but perhaps it would be considered acceptable to nibble the odd fixture or lick the odd fitting in a time of need. As Ed was contemplating his plan, a cackle pierced the silence, giving Ed a fright. A witch jumped into the space in front of the house. She was carrying a golden bird cage. In that cage was Popcorn, the miniature stub-tailed unicorn. To be continued. Thank you.
Oh, but you have us captivated.
Leave them wanting more. That's the trick.
Oh, trust Phynne Belle to lead us through the woods and back out. Oh, thank you, Phynne Belle. I really want. Maybe if you hang out late and feel like sharing the rest after to close us out, maybe we'll see. We'll keep open mind. Woo! Okay, thank you. And next we welcome, with great thanks, Mike Sindler.
Hey, great to be back, everybody. We are in weird times, and I have just not, actually, I've barely been writing, but what I've been writing has not been my usual. So I'm going to try and do a couple, one that's fairly new. A lot of y'all have heard it, but is sort of what's been coming out of me these days. And then another one that's more what I generally try and do. So the first one is She Was Trying. She was trying to be nice, just an innocent compliment by way of a thank you. He heard it as an invitation, let hopes become obsessive pursuit. At first, she ignored unwanted chattering, became uncomfortable as the level increased, found herself looking for allies or exits. No one seemed to apprehend rising level of anxiety and fear. Refusing repeated offers to buy her a drink, to get up and dance, to go somewhere quiet and talk. What could she have said or done to make him feel this was appropriate? She thought back and found nothing. What was she missing? Though blameless, she took herself to task. She'd done nothing to make him act like an ass. It was on him. She got up to use the toilet. He asked, "Where are you going?" How was this his business? She found a seat on the other side of the bar. Within minutes, he was invading her space again. Finally, as nicely as she could, she asked him to leave her alone. Fury flashed, flushing his face. He leaned in menacingly, growling, "Hey, I bought you a drink. You led me on. What's wrong? I'm a good guy. You should get to know me." The bartender finally registered the fear in her features, told the pest to back off or get the hell out. He retreated a few stools down, slammed down shot after shot, getting sloppier and sloppier. She prayed he would find another focus for his toxic insecurity other than another unaware victim. Noting a moment he absented his predatory perch, she chose to use the time to make a subtle retreat. Heading towards the parking lot, keys wedged between fingers, fondling a pocketed bear spray can. While she was unlocking the door, she heard his gruff, mumbled roar. "Hey, why are you leaving? Don't go without me. Don't be like that. You at least owe me a hug." In a transformative moment, his threat turned into a scream, aerosol entering nostril and throat. Tears rained from inflamed eyes. A well-placed kick found him sprawled out on the asphalt, wheeling wildly, lashing blindly, howling, "Bitch, I'm gonna kill you," between wheezing gasps. Despite her palpable fear and anger, the impotent epithet brought laughter, prone bully bawling in a pool of puke. She considered calling the cops. It was doubtful he'd learned a lesson, but knew it probably wouldn't help. Odds were against a just intervention. Experience had taught her all too well. Patriarchy rarely comes to women's aid. No need for hours of defending against intimation. She brought it on herself, gave him the right to act animalistic. Resisting the urge to roll right over, she wheeled around, driving away, her whole body still shaking in shock. Rage slowly simmered down to relief, still struggling to remember a misstep leading to his dark transformation. After all she had been through, lucky just to be alive, she still turned inside to find blame as society had taught her. With no reason to accept shame, she burned from the sting of slander, hearing the morning news announce, "A man was attacked in a downtown parking lot and left for dead, victim of an unhinged, drugged-out assailant." Drunk on unearned sympathy, soon he will be repeating the pattern cycle, rolling on for another victim. Resigned to inability to unveil his culpability, that afternoon she treated herself to a new can of Ursine repellent. Is that my time, or do I have time for another?
We got about a minute left. You got a minute?
It would probably be a little longer than that.
I think a little longer would be okay. I'm sure we got seconds. I'll stop talking.
Something that's mellower. Some of y'all have heard this one too. It's called Water. I spoke to the stone. Its reply was an echo, a hard lesson on how to listen, on how to learn from repetition. I spoke to the fire. Its reply was warm, its crackling voice wavering and leaping, full of blistering passion. I spoke to the wind. Its reply was chilling, lashing, and its silent rebuke, leaving no room for response. I spoke to the water, each word rippling on its shimmering skin. Its reply sang in waves and babbles and roars. Its voice leapt like fire, rushed like wind, sat as still and tranquil as stone, whispering secrets it learned in the clouds. Speaking through the greenery that pulled its voice into their own, a perfumed chorus of floral players. It poured its message into me and through me and out of me again through every pore. Its words war against the stone, rubbing ridges into its brow. It tamed fire, conjoining as steam, reaching new heights, then condensing down to earthier phrasing. It danced on the wind, flying as fable around the globe and back to me. I fell asleep to water's tale, woke wet and clean and thirsting for more. Okay, thank y'all.
Yes, thank you. Ooh, exploring duality and into some other dimensions as well. Highly effective in your specificity. Thank you, Michael Sindler. Appreciate your voice. Ooh, and your viewpoint. We next welcome Generalissimo Bryan Franco. Thank you.
Okay, I'm going to share the screen on the first one. It's called The Real Reason Pyramids Were Built. It is a concrete poem. I was told a decision I made could unravel my future, but time, aka past, present, and future, is in a constant state of flux. Present becomes past once future happens. This cycle continues on a moment-by-moment basis, ad infinitum. Think of time as a ball of yarn with just enough yarn to roll down the side of a Giza pyramid. One end of the ball of yarn is attached to a post at the top of the pyramid. As it rolls down the side of the pyramid, unraveling, a waggly-tailed Labrador retriever impatiently awaits its arrival because its owner had soaked a tennis ball in beef broth, let it dry out, then threaded and wrapped enough yarn to roll down the side of the Giza pyramid around the ball. As the ball of yarn unraveled, the desert wind sent the scent of beef to the dog. When the tennis ball arrived, the dog grabbed the ball in its mouth and pulled it till the final length of yarn exited the ball. Think of the complete ball of yarn as the past, which turned into the present as it unraveled, then finally became the future when the dog started gnawing at it. So if someone ever tells you a mistake you made can unravel your future, tell them that the physics of time disallows for the future to unravel. And my next poem is Why Roller Coasters Need Surge Protectors. Every once in a while, I write a love poem about a past love. I read it over and over in silence till I read it aloud, which makes me both laugh and cry, because all romances are like roller coasters or maybe log rides that splash water on me to dampen the adrenaline that surges through my being from the lightest touch of a fingertip or the gentlest of kisses. But every touch and kiss can't last forever, and every love poem is about history, which retells memories, and remembering history reminds us roller coasters have long, creaky uphills and downhills that take our breath away. And if we survive the loop-de-loops, we experience dizziness that feels like the morning after drinking too much tequila. A love poem can feel like a down feather bed with satin sheets until I read it aloud. Then it becomes a straw mattress on a dirt floor after being kidnapped by a Colombian drug gang, which reminds me a love poem can be a love poem and a hurt poem at the same time. And all roller coasters and log rides are rides we wait in line, long lines to experience, but must always come to an end. Do I have time for one more, Christine?
I think you may.
Okay, great. This I wrote last night in a workshop, Why Monopoly is an Exercise in Redemption. What I know for sure is not very much. I have been hungry, but never known true hunger. I have hungered, but never been truly hungry. I have felt my heart beat against my shirt. I have felt my heart speak through my voice. I have said words that can be defined as heartless. Heartless is not a synonym for mean or rude, but a word unto itself that etches words said into scar tissue as history unforgettable. When I have been heartless, I started on the defensive, then transformed in a flash into offensive. Words became criminal without being crimes. Excuses were excuseless. To try to erase what can't be erased is like paying a debt with Monopoly money outside of playing Monopoly. All the little plastic houses and hotels are just little pieces of plastic. All the real estate was land where howling four-legged wolves roamed, where wolves preyed upon those they preyed upon. Now new wolves with 2 legs and thumbs prey upon new prey, who pray for redemption, who pray to never know lonely, who pray to never be a wolf. What the wolves know for sure is that if they put cocoa butter on their lips, they can give cocoa butter kisses while biting the heads off their prey. The wolves say they cannot avoid being who they were born to be. They will never need to pray for redemption because they are predators. Thank you.
Oh. Thank you, Generalissimo Bryan Franco. It is so good to hear from you. Thank you very much. And extra goodness when we get to hear 3. Impactful. Thank you. We next welcome, thank you so much, Rhoda Thomas.
Thank you. This poem is called Welsh Water. Wales is a country where it always seems to rain, like in Snowdonia National Park, where it freezes on the mountains or splashes down the Swallow Falls, white and powerful. And then there are the reservoirs, like that of Llyn Celyn, houses, chapel, post office, school, all drowned to provide water for Liverpool in England, and the same in the Elan Valley for the people of Birmingham. Holidaymakers drive around the lakes now, silent, sullen landscape of water ghosts. And still there is graffiti, Cofiwch Drawerin, we will not forget. From Bardsey Sound to Hell's Mouth on the Llyn Peninsula, the wind comes up strong, your hair blows all over the place, and you can hear the call of oyster catchers, plovers, yellowhammers, and sometimes see the great wingspans of buzzards at Aberdaron. Mothers and wives and children mourn the deaths of fishermen perished at sea, smugglers wrecked in storms, wild water that kills, booty on the rocks, pilgrims seeking solace inside the stone walls of the church. R.S. Thomas, the poet and vicar, buried his wife here. The notices are in Welsh and English. Stones bear the words of prayer. A fish and chip lunch in the pub before setting sail for the island. Wales has a rough, rocky coastline dotted with islands and towns. Aberystwyth, where goats walked right into town in the pandemic, and storms blew seawater into hotel front stoops and over cars. Llandudno, where people come by train from English towns to partake of the spa waters, walk on the promenade, picnic on the beach. Then there are the rivers Teivi and the Towie farther south, where they fish salmon and trout from nets spread across the water between coracles, small boats, handmade from willow, now fiberglass, men sculling with a single oar, gliding by low-hung trees, lit by the stars. In the south, where the White River and the Black River Cleddau meet, one of the biggest ports in Britain, oil and liquid gas refineries, Esso, Texaco, Amoco, community aspirations and hopes laid waste as labour requirements wax and wane, jobs in the interest of capital. A far cry from the leisure riverboats on the Towie in Coppertown. Its cargo, summer tourists, or the Taff stretching up to Black Weir, through Llandaff Fields, where once there were the happy splashes of outdoor swimmers, screams of laughter, bouncing balls in the long-gone open-air swimming pool. They closed. In the east, the Severn bore, one of the biggest surge waves in the world. People listen for it and wonder and wait until they see the surfers riding on its crest round the bend as the waters arrive. The Severn crossing links England with Wales, 80,000 vehicles every day built over tides, crosswinds, wetlands, salt marshes, mud flats. 4 men, John, Eric, Robin, Kevin, died in its making, named on a plaque. The bridge now named after the Prince of Wales, the unwelcome imposition of rule from England. And at the very centre of Wales, a dragon sculpture on a lake spouts water right across the surface of the pool and leaping carp. The cafe serves toasted tea cakes, butter and tea on the balcony. The hotel, 2 restaurants, health club and 150 car parking spaces. Women clean, serve food, starch the laundry, book in the guests. A town that hosts conferences because it's mutually inconvenient for all. The Chalybeate Springs, rich with life-giving iron, gave birth to this town. And by now, you can see how important water is in Wales and can appreciate the symbolism of the Welsh dragon, a serpent, indomitable and ferocious. Today, I walk in the Swansea Marina in the far south. Boat masks gently tinkling in the breeze, cormorants on the buoys, absent boat owners accumulate from their investments. The lock opens for a craft to pass through. Students hurry by, the retired sip coffee, businessmen talk loudly over beer and laptops. The homeless man sits on the bridge, flowers left for the one who died. The light catches the rippling water in the bay. Water eddies and sparkles in the sunlight. Water, the lifeblood of this country.
extraordinary offering. Thank you so much, Rhoda Thomas. I'm gonna let that move inside me with great appreciation. We next welcome, according to my list, Sir-Reyna Lucio. Thank you.
How you doing, everyone? That would be Serge Ray Rodrigo is one of my common names. People call me Serge, you know, me as Sergio. So I respond to all three, doesn't matter. So I give you, okay, whoops. Okay, so Serge, people call me Serge because they can't pronounce Sergio. Sergio's my government name. I also go by Sir-Reyna Lucio. I answer to all three names, so we're good. Let's see, for those of you who don't know, the US has a lot of massive shootings that happen amongst a lot of people. I wrote a poem that I've been working on for over a month about this because it was the first mass shooter that is a Hispanic person like myself who shot a bunch of other Hispanic children. So this was very hard to understand and write about. None of my family or friends who happen to be of my demographic are talking about this. And the only other people who are talking about this are like, told you, you know, racism doesn't exist because you're doing it to your own people. That fuck off. Okay, so the deal is that I'm really just gonna talk about this with the poem that I wrote and see if we can understand a little bit of this better, because I think it needs to be talked about big time. It's not just a bunch of angry white boys doing it, of course, but my own demographic needs to address this very directly. So it's called More American Than American. Yeah, Blade Runner fans out there again. One of our own fired bullet after bullet through our own children. One of our own pulled a trigger aimed at his grandmother's jaw, a grave taboo for anyone who saw the candy-coated Prozac movies known as Coco and Encanto, or pretty much anything pandered by Lin-Manuel Miranda. Our truest matriarchs, they can rip off their faces and breathe fire on us like a Mortal Kombat finishing move. But we self-finish, don't we? Like this grandma's boy. We wish she could speak about this soon, maybe to help us understand why her grandson acted like what's known as an entitled incel white boy with just enough play money. Why he thought he could just get away with murdering our children without some type of hell awaiting him. He's in Yolanda Salvador territory, and that's enough to make one believe. Is that why so many atheists are so wannabe militant to those deemed objectively beneath logic, reasoning, and empathy? Like every commoner, atheists need evil to be punished too. And with no hell in a judicial system that favors old white money, non-believers choose to be all punk about it. But punks, weren't they just a bunch of poor British chaps in the late 70s who wore rags out of necessity? They screamed with poorly practiced instruments and thought they were just doing what hippies failed to do, at least here in the United States. Hippies were just wannabe Native Americans, right? So then what do punks want to be? Victim saviors? I don't know. Punks wish they were part of this real movement. This, you know, the real movements, the civil rights movement, the women's suffrage movement, the Red Power movement, the Stonewall fight, the Willowbrook and Spotlight investigations. Real punk stuff. Only God and the devil and every noun in between know what the hell internet age punks even stand for. Now, punk used to be an insult for all bark and no bite when I was younger. Now, did a punk atheist fire so many bullets into our children that DNA was needed to identify them? Now, where's a punk atheist lawyer when you need one? No, never punk atheist lawyers. But always dumbass conforming Christians doing the killing, right? Kids who survive school shootings, well, they won't survive unmasking with COVID or whatever variant at forced in-person schools. But they won't survive the glob of pregnancy cells, therefore they'll be forced to carry. Won't survive the bullets rocketed through them because the cops thought a fleshlight was a pistol. They won't survive the caravan of the core of Russian Ukraine. They won't survive like we were forced to survive, surviving climate change and intergalactic travel. Was that back when punks were really real punks? If shooters can be punk atheist lawyers like our murderer of our own children, then they may be our next step to becoming as American as apple pie. On our own land, by the way. As American as mass shootings by civilians, civilians against civilians, and for civilians? Well, that just gives us another unnecessary tragedy to infinitely condescend over, to use it, to ignore how it's our own kind firing bullet after bullet through our own children. Have we become more American now? Since we are the original Americans, perhaps America has just become more like us. One of our own American children. As American as apple pie, as American as Native Americans, as American as South Americans, as American as punk atheist lawyers, as mass shootings, and apple pie filled with murdered American children, but not pre-born American children, just the ones that are more American than American tear gas fired through our own children's eyes. Better than bullets without a protest. And that'd be it.
Sir-Reyna Lucio, thank you for putting your words to that. I will not even attempt to put words to how much I am grateful for you speaking. Thank you. Thank you so much. Yeah, that is real. Something to sit with and act from the knowledge of. We next welcome, such a grand welcome. Thank you, Clive Oseman.
Hello. Yeah, for something completely different, as they like to say. I'm going to do two. The first one, it was for a prompt at another event, which was write an ode to the beauty of an everyday object. And that was right up my street. I thought, I've got to have a go at that. So I did. Yeah, there's nothing I could say that's going to make this make any sense. But just to give it some context, when I mention Hollywood, I'm talking about a suburb of Birmingham and not the Hollywood. It's got no relevance whatsoever, but I just thought I'd like to say at least one thing that makes sense. So yeah. I know an ode is a particular form, and I don't mean to treat it with scorn, but the object of my enthusing, this utter stunner, is refusing to comply to the norm. Only free verse will do to express my admiration and deep love for this beauty, this finest example in the entire nation, and to do it justice is my duty. You see, I've fallen deeply in love. Hopelessly besotted since I first spotted this creature in the BP petrol station in the Yardley Wood area of Birmingham. Pump number 4. Whoa, look at the nozzle on that, I thought as I stared at it in disbelief, imagining all kinds of mischief. You're looking at me kind of strange, as if I'm slightly deranged, but my urges are basic and elemental. I am a petrosexual. There's nothing wrong at all with that. I thought I would marry pump number 4, the petrol pump that I adored, but then all the rumours started and the truth has left me broken-hearted. I thought I was special, but alas, how many it has pumped is anyone's gas. So I left it for one near the Hollywood bypass. Pump number 7 at the Shell petrol station is a beauty that's beyond imagination. Thank you very much. So I did tell you it wouldn't make a lot of sense. Now the next one, a lot of you will have heard my poem about typos and mishearing things and that becoming reality by magic. Well, this, if you like, is Typos Part 2. I've been working on this for some time and I've had 1 or 2 cracks at it and I've read it and I thought, no, that's not right, that's not right, that's not right. I think this is better. So, as I misheard the lyrics to that Tom Grennan song, A Little Bit of Love, as I've been holding on to feces swimming in the deep end, I have to admit weird images went floating through my mind. I remembered listening to the Bestials, John, Paul, Gorgeous, Dingo performed their classic I Am the Walnut as I munched on a walrus whip. I wondered, why a walnut? Why not a Winotaurus? And I thought of other misheard songs like Fist You by the Rolling Stoners, and that other Bestials classic, The Long and Slimy Toad. Not forgetting Eminem's Spam featuring Dildo. After the Walrus Whip, I still had a nappy fight, so I decided to have some culinary delights at a fast food place. I'm not a fan of McDonald's, especially the Big Mac with cheese, so I considered Pizza Hut, Kentucky Fried Chicken, and Burger King. Eventually, though, I decided on some good old-fashioned pissing chips. Yum. The next night, I had that Scottish delicacy, deep-fired arse bar, and I enjoyed it so much. I had the same every night until one day I had a shark attack and was taken to Horse Pickle in an ambulance. I guess I'm like my old man, a shit off the old block, and then one sandwich short of a dipstick. I went home by train when released. It was nearly an hour late, severely decayed, a bit like the onboard sandwiches. When I got home, Boris Johnson was on TV talking about how his party gave him a mandrake to carry on ducking the country because only 40% of them thought he was incontinent in what he was doing, even though he's clearly shitting on us. If you ask me, the powder has gone to his head. But what can we do, other than tolerate him until the next election? Thank you very much.
Be one of my favorites you've done. Thank you, Clive Oseman. I'll have the same every night. Thank you very much. Oh, wow. Yeah. Yeah, needed that. Thank you, Clive Oseman. So next, we have the honor of welcoming a speaker new to our mic. Thank you so much, Guntis.
I also do two pieces, and the first one is called Jupiter. Oh, Jupiter, you're never the same. So many colors from orange to pink. I would have given you woman's name. You are the planet of beauty, I think. You have something that no one could fake, so much splendor in spherical form, made in layers like beautiful cake, but it's not cream, it's actual storm. If I could set off and get in your orbit, that would be life lived with dignity. I could admire it all and absorb it in all that silence served with infinity. I know you already have many moons, but one little more, but maybe be fair. You wouldn't know if I get there soon. I'm just a poet on foldable chair. Yes, it could be a little bit chilly. I know it's cold in space and so on, but then I would take a coffee with me in one of those mugs that keeps it warm. Hey, Juppie, you ever tried oxygen? We are addicted. You should try a fraction. Ah, you are all made of hydrogen. No, we don't want to cause a reaction. Just guessing what you'd find pleasant. Don't know much about planets and stars. I would like to arrive at a present if there's a ship that would get me that far. Now I just stare in this starry night glitter. Where am I going with this reflection? Well, I don't know, dear Jupiter. I just think we have a connection. And the second one is photography. Stay still. This is the correct angle. And when I give a sign to smile, say cheese. The truest you is ready to untangle when button clicks and diaphragm sneeze. And light that broke against your face enters the aperture and settles on a frame. I'm glad it found its mission and its place to be a proof that you are still the same. Your body is a land. Your eyes are portal to summon you, inspect and magnify. This is the prize when you become immortal, a moment that's arrested on the fly. No final touch to add some special look, like when you make a painting or you write. Now it will stay exactly as I took and fixed it all in shades of black and white. It's not just image on a glossy paper. You contribute the universe your dime. It is your ticket to be now and later at first companion, then witness of the time. And thank you. I'm grateful for your duty and your existence able to unfold, to let create this artifact of beauty, a pocket version of your precious soul. Thank you.
Oh, yes. Oh, Guntis, thank you. Oh, ticklish and tender and then transcendent. Oh, please come back again and share more with us. Thank you, Guntis. Okay, getting a little excited tonight, and by that I mean a lot. Next up, I get to welcome, thank you, Caroline Minter.
Caroline Minter. Good morning. Roll, roll, roll the law backwards. Now is mean. Daily, 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 daily. Politicians vanishing dreams. You say, wade in the water. Wade in the water, ladies. Wade in the waters. No, we shall not wait. Ladies and gentlemen, sometimes you're gonna have to bite off more than you can chew. Keep going, you'll get through. Go and open a can of worms and make them squirm. Come hell or high water, act like you are the king's sons and daughters. Don't stop until it's comes to a head. Let them know that we're not dead. Next generation, you're gonna have a cross to bear. I know that you'll get there. Even this disaster is written all over it, don't quit. Address the elephant in the courtroom. Don't back down, don't let them assume. I know that you'll get to the bottom of it all. Carry the torch, y'all. Go haywire, go through the mill. Let them know on Capitol Hill that we will not sit still. We're going to get tough. When things get tough and you feel like grasping at straws, continue to stand tall. When something feels out of whack, don't cut them no slack. Keep talking back. When you get in a pickle, there'll be no quick fix. Just keep going, don't quit. See, your ancestors have tried to scratch the surface for you. Continue on, pursue. Take the bull by the horns and don't take the easy way out. Use your voice and vote. Get them out. Yes, there'll be tight spots, but don't stop. You'll need a shoulder to cry on. Stick together and victory will be won. Things may spiral out of control, but continue on. Let's be bold. Stir up the hornet's nest. Keep climbing because we need to do our best. See, there will be stumbling blocks along the way. Use them to build up, and we can have our say. This vicious cycle must come to an end. Keep fighting on, for we will win. You have your work cut out for you because we are the generation of do. We're gonna do all that we can to preserve, fight on for justice and equality, and we're gonna get what we deserve. So demand and stand on behalf of every man. So here's my command. Get yourself in a catch-22, dodge some bullets, you'll make it through. Ask for some trouble, look for some trouble, cause some trouble, get into some trouble, give some trouble, make some trouble, stir up some trouble. We are going to double trouble these waters because we are God's sons and daughters. We're gonna roll, roll, roll our boat gently down a new stream. If you know what I mean.
Yes, yes, Caroline Minter. Ooh, anything you command, all that you demand. Yes, you address that elephant in the courtroom with a voice strong and clear, and I thank you, Caroline Minter. Whew. We welcome now, thank you, quite excited, Bonnie Solloway.
And to follow up on Caroline's poem, this one's called Rage. Seeds of rage sprout in my soul since 2016, when half our country embraced a man of dubious deeds and means. A man of immoral gluttony, psychopathically aligned, reversed our social mores with his mobster state of mind. Like a garden's infamous serpent, he served forbidden fruit from trees, laced with lies so many swallowed, ignoring warnings and desperate pleas. The Trump tsunami raced through towns, crushing ethics and truth to stone, flushing justice down the drain from a fake gold-plated throne. A self-anointed righteousness rendered dialogue all but dead. The powerful binge on greed while we all choke on dread. No more civil disagreement in this winner-take-all game. The nasty ticks of hatred burrow deep with lasting pain. Greed's addictive foothold keeps amassing all it needs, redefining we the people, bending democracy to its knees. I don't profess to have the answers, but a scary truth seems near. Hatred's roots keep growing deeper, fertilizing lasting fear. Seeds of rage sprout in my soul in a thicket of thorns and pain. Will we till new lands and gardens where our republic can be saved, or be blinded to the destiny of a serpent's rotten fascist ways?
Voila. Voila. Yes, yes, take it all to task, put them on blast. Thank you, Bonnie Solloway. Yeah, I mean, true rage. And yeah, it's truth and you say it. Thank you. Yeah.
Thank you, Christine.
That's the medicine of the day. It is potent. Next, we welcome to the mic. Thank you so much. I hope you saw when I dropped the list in the chat. Karen Scott, I am so glad you are speaking with us tonight.
Oh. Well, I'm going to do a cover. I'm a member of the Ohio Poetry Association. Hi, Doc. And last weekend, OPA hosted the first hybrid version of the National Convention of the National Federation of State Poetry Societies. And they have a yearly, for the last 6 years, they've had a poetry prize called the Blackberry Peach Poetry Prize. And I've been really taken with the second prize winner's signature poem. And if I'd been a judge, he would have gotten first prize. So this is a poem by Raymond Jimenez, and he's a ceramic artist from the University of Central Florida. And the title of the poem is Stumbling Blocks. I'm not saying you're a racist. That would be silly. You're not a whites only sign, drippy lead paint on knotted wood, perched above a restaurant door like a scarecrow for civil rights. No, I'm saying you enjoy the house special. The waitress has already memorized your order. The owner reserves your seat weekly, greets you with a camera shutter wink and a Cheshire smile. Your initials carved into the wood of your favorite booth, memories box, stepping down the aisles, standing room only, so you can't see all the spaces you're not willing to make for others. I'm not saying you're a bigot, really, I'm not. You're not a Dodge Challenger with bifurcated bumper plowing protesters in Charlottesville, exhaust fume breath with two-stroke fury, snarling and skidding at the slightest provocation, unyielding as the Confederate statue you refuse to see torn down. No, I'm saying you enjoy the ride. The gas pedal feels plush against your heavy foot. The engine roars like a banshee, makes whispers of shrieking bystanders that you long to own one, but at a reasonable price. 40% off sticker or 3/5 compromise. a fuel-injected rush of power turning radius of a gunshot, everything reduced to speed bumps or green lights, and who needs speed bumps in their lives, wrecking your suspension of disbelief. I'm not saying you're a Nazi, like you're some kind of concentration camp, garbage pit of misery and lost dreams, the stench of death tinged with bitter almonds and despair, walls of razor wire like bared teeth, the emaciated and forgotten slipping into the oblivion of your mouth. No, I'm saying you live in an upwind subdivision, so you don't have to smell the bodies. That your house is well insulated against the sounds of family trees snapping or children begging to be held, but you keep the police on speed dial in case you spot someone Anne Franking next door. That some places are built for throwing lives away and you don't look for them, but you vote for them and never have to think about or concentrate on them again. I'm not saying you're a Klansman or Proud Boy marching down the street, a specter for white retribution. I'm saying you're the police escort. You're not the Molotov cocktail thrown into a mosque, you're the Starbucks that replaces it. You're not the shooter in a black church, you're the buy one box of bullets, get one Happy Meal sale. I'm not saying you're a racist. I'm saying evil only triumphs when good people do nothing, and you're the nothing. What King would call a stumbling block of history. And enough stumbling blocks gathered together make a wall or a prison. Enough stumbling blocks make a school that can't teach about slavery. Enough stumbling blocks make a police force that's never held accountable, make internment camps and trails of tears. Hundreds of years of stumbling blocks make a nation a towering mess of rotting parts, unwilling to look at itself. I'm saying the biggest obstacle to justice isn't evil, it's indifference, it's convenience. I'm not saying you're part of the problem. I'm saying in the equation of life, you're just a benign remainder in someone else's final solution. Raymond Jimenez.
Wow. Thank you so much for amplifying that. Oh, Karen Scott, that poem, it's just, it's important, vital work, so meaningful from beginning to end and busting out every seam, eminently quotable. That is marvelous. And I'm amazed, and that is very necessary work. Thank you so much for sharing it.
I was stricken by it, so yeah, I love reading it. And I love the craft of it. So
yeah, it is rich with everything a poem can be rich with. Yeah, thank you. Ooh, chills, y'all, tonight. Okay. Ooh. We get to welcome now another new voice to our mic. With great gratitude, I welcome you now. Thank you, Linda Wlodyka. I'm trying again. Linda Wlodyka.
Oh, that was great. You said it good.
My tongue got in front of my teeth and I had to try again, but I'm grateful for the opportunity. Thank you for being here.
Okay, the first one I'm going to read is kind of quirky. It's about buying furniture earlier on during the pandemic. So you have to kind of listen to get all the nuances. The name of it is Pallet. It was the gray furniture I chose to buy. The pandemic caused shortages. I wasn't sure the likes of elephant skin gray, dolphin gray, or tree bark gray could wow or enhance my living room. I say it's the yellow walls that matter. Benjamin Moore paint offers a hawthorn yellow, which glows amber. It is also an exterior color seen on 200-year-old colonial houses. It suits my walls. I chose poetic pillows. Quote, happiness depends upon ourselves, unquote. Not that I love throw pillows all that much. They cannot replace a bed pillow for comfort. Decorators call them accent pillows. Leave them on an unoccupied chair, accent complete. A crafter from Etsy made them. I presume they saw this room. The pillow is gray, yellow, white, and black, patterned in swatches, a random collage. Butterflies, 3 black chickens, which I could have sworn were crows from the online image, vines, leaves, flowers, and a hashtag of stripes comprise this collage. My curiosity kills me when it comes to the chicken wire fence. It looks like the chickens flew the coop, proudly perched up on that branch. I add some furniture stars, which are the same color as the pillows. Tiny flowers, berries, vines, kittens, butterflies, and tiny black, white-haired nymphs, which appear to present as female, sit amongst the flora. I believe I chose this wonderland to keep fantasy alive in my living room. Lend some magic to a mundane moment. New lamps seem to be in order. They are metal, donning black leafy vines with white shades. I imagine the cats and nymphs will someday escape their lair, hoist themselves onto the vined lamp, sit pretty grinning at me like the Cheshire Cat. Then they'll swing off the lamp, plop into my cold drink, talk gibberish while swimming in my Pinot Grigio. And I really have all these things in my living room. Okay, I think I have one more here. In this wild existence where we take claim, a life where wonder keeps us tidy inside our cocoons, where dreamers shed tears, then rebound, where I proclaim more magic than mysticism, yet flowers bloom, children play, guardians loom, lend safe haven, my own abilities evolve constantly. Where your hand and mine cross miles between mountains, valleys, longing for touch, more desire that can breach a dam, where heart blush looks good on paper valentines, where the stick crosses a path, not a hindrance, more than windswept. My own 2 feet continue. I am in search of the light, not at the end of a tunnel, instead, where solar rays find cracks, crevices, perforations, seepage for their light, where imperfections improve like a quality controller gone manic, where flow, not ebb, sends forth currents, spirits thirst, where Luna's phantasm surrounds full pink moons, exacting each poet's words, hieroglyphics, perpetual, where future inhabitants peel off their facade, mutter philosophies of sages, the poems we wrote. Thank you.
Oh. Ah, Linda, thank you. Oh, wow.
Welcome.
I unexpectedly began crying during your second poem. I've got to say, there's something about you are able to create such an expansive honesty with what you bring out in your details. You know, just that moment that a poem is of true connection. I was just struck by the embodiment of that with such great appreciation. I've got to say, as an aside to this, I was also concurrently struck with the realization of maybe why it is. For me, I opened the session tonight talking to the earlier rivals about why poetry, what poetry has done for us lately. But, you know, yeah, go ahead.
I wrote it in the heart of, you know, maybe a year or a little more ago of the pandemic, and I was going to lots of Zooms, and that's how I felt. Like all these Zooms are helping us get through this. The humanity is still there, you know?
Yeah, exactly. And I noticed there is a lot of, you know, a lot of pretentiousness in this world, a lot of pretense, a lot of, parody, and, it's maybe sometimes lacking the honesty of the true motives. And I just want to say with such awe and appreciation, poets and poets who are gathered here tonight, that you are able to bring your insides out and display them. It's such a powerful gift. It is the very definition of inspiration. Thank you.
Thank you. I enjoy being here.
Oh, so happy you are, and hope that you return. We next welcome, thank you so much, Greg Slade.
Hey, everybody. I'm going to read this one today. It's called Quality of Life. Sometimes murder is mercy. What is the nature of murder? What is the nature of mercy? Murder, of course, is when the actions of one life and the action of another. How much, though, can be modified, premeditated or accidental, intentional or coincidental. Murder can be violent. Murder can be gentle. The nature that we take it for is one just shouldn't murder more than they must to survive at times. For our sustenance and our self-defense, we kill what we must to achieve our own relative ends. These murders are just so that we don't call them murder much. Some say grace to God, but never mention the killing of the cow for their lunch. No, the name of murder is reserved for a killing not paid for or properly earned, for a malicious act, a devilish turn, an anger grown out of hand for some revenge or spite, or just the twisted wish in the eyes of the darker side. All things that live seem to somehow die. How much have we consumed in this unspoken life of crime? So many words for murder. Mercy has nearly been forgotten. One word unheard we should be saying all the time. What is the nature of mercy then? The staving off of some suffering, the relief from some guaranteed misery, a gift from those graced by the victory, a compassion for the less fit and less free. It can also be a call from the weak, barely spoken with a stutter. Help me make this stop, please. Though the need can also be seen in a scream or a tear, the need can even be not seen in the least. Mercy often is missing in the silent stares. So murder is hurting and mercy is helping. And would it be that was that where murder is malicious and easily seen, where mercy is kindness and the key is to feed? But what if murder is the mercy that something needs? If you live enough of this life, you'll see some things that would do better to die. The mercy kill is a solemn rite. For those weak of the heart and the mind, not grasping the suffering enough to know when it's time, it is time. Sometimes it's ugly to do what is right. Sometimes murder is mercy. There are worse things in this life than not being alive. That's called quality of life.
Whew. Giving life there. Somehow, inside out and upside down, out the other end again, dispelling disillusionment. Thank you, Greg Slade. Thank you very much. Yeah, I feel like I emerge from a meditation with you, and sometimes it's a reaming, and you know what? We need that too. Thank you. We next welcome, thank you very much, Doc Janning.
Thank you. I have two poems this evening, and the first one I read for our community's celebration of Juneteenth, and the second one is the one I will be reading for Independence Day in two different cities. But not all were yet free, traveling through unfamiliar landscapes, following the drinking gourd in infinite caverns of night, reaching for dreams in endless blue sky of day, once the way to freedom. Then came to be the Emancipation Proclamation on January 1st, 1863. But not all were yet free. The Civil War raged on until Appomattox, April 19th, 1865. But not all were yet free. It was another 2 months, June 19th, 1865, in Galveston, and General Order Number 3. But not all were yet free. Jim Crow and unequal laws, voting rights infringement, the KKK and Tulsa, but not all were yet free. The Civil Rights Movement, Loving versus Virginia, the Civil Rights Act, but not all were yet free. Unequal sentencing, forced labor in prisons, lynchings, and more, but not all were yet free. Political lies and the big lie, redlining and erosion of values in the name of greed and power, but not all were yet free. Unrelenting attitudes, bigotry, racism, white supremacy, institutional superiority, but not all were yet free. History poorly taught or not taught at all, especially of America's warts, but not all were yet free. Superficial differences taught as rationale, and others equally banal, and not all are yet truly free. That was for Juneteenth. This one is titled with a number, 246. Today we celebrate a birth, the birth of our country. 246 years, nearly a quarter of a millennium. We celebrate freedom, but are we truly free? We have traded kings and lords of lands for kings of money, for lords of greed, for lords of power. We have traded for those who feel their dogma outweighs bodily autonomy for half our population, for those who feel others are less than, for those whose rulings are not common sense, but dogmatic nonsense, for those who write dogma into law, for those who promote bigotry and misogyny, fear and hate, in contradiction to every belief's basis, love. We have traded for those we elect to represent us, who believe it gives them absolute power, for those who believe and behave as though our Constitution is a meaningless impediment, for those who do not listen to the citizens who elected them, but only to money and the siren song of power. We have traded for those who do not see or hear and do not understand, for those who do not want to see, hear, or understand, for those who have a motto which flies in the face of reason. My mind is made up. Don't confuse me with the facts. And now we have a daunting task, a gestation, the rebirth of our nation, a rebirth to become a nation where my country, 'tis of thee, sweet land of liberty, rings true for all, and all are truly free. Thank you.
A swelling call indeed. Thank you, Doc Janning. Yes, mighty, mighty. I concur. That is bit of a new direction, but you know what? It is right on par. And I love hearing you lend your words to the cause, such lucidity and thoughtfulness. And yeah, and in this time of need. Thank you.
Thank you.
Whew. Siren song of power, indeed. Yeah. Mhm. So much clarity coming forward. We now welcome with great thanks Terri Rose Jertson.
Hello, this is my book. And now I have Cash App as well. iFunny's mom, spelled IFUNNIEZ mom. So if you want to Cash App me, I'm trying to make it easier for people because not everybody has PayPal. Okay, I'm just going to get to it. So out of my book, I'm going to read Truth and Lies. So the first one is Truth on page 40. There's a song that says you have to be true to be kind in the right measure. I never really understood what that meant because any time in the past that I was true with my words, they were not always kind. In my life, to be kind is to hold your tongue because people rarely want to hear the truth. It's the first one. This is lies. Lies. Your mouth continues to spit them out. They flow so easily from the innocent look on your face, swearing that the stories are fact, not fiction, until I prove them false and confront you. Squirming, knowing you were caught again. In my anger, I scream. You do not flinch. You could care less. Like a buzzing fly in your ear. A mere annoyance. Just breathe, I say to myself. This too shall pass. Until the next time. Thank you.
Congrats on the book. You're going to be hearing from me. I love that heavy duty and lighthearted energy. You bring it. You've got the full spectrum. I love that image behind you. That is it. That's the energy. Thank you so much, Terri Rose Jertson.
Thank you.
Congrats. Awesome. Well, here we go. We're going to make a trip up to Canada, and I think we're going to be going back there again in just a little while. For now, we welcome and thank you, Jeff Cottrill.
Okay, here's a new one. This is called Google is Your Friend. Hey, you know that new Twitter meme? What new Twitter meme? The one with the kangaroo and the Dr. Pepper bottle. Yeah, what about it? I don't really get the joke. What's it about? Google is your friend. Excuse me? Google is your friend. Why don't you look it up online? Well, I could look it up, but you're right here. I thought you might know. Well, it's not worth my time to explain. Look it up. Oh, okay. Fine. By the way, I missed the Jays game last night. You know if they won? Google is your friend. Sorry? Google is your friend. Just look up the score. But you're a Jays fan. I thought you might have watched the game. Yeah, I did, but it's not my responsibility to relate baseball scores to you. I didn't say it was anybody's responsibility because it isn't. Go look it up like a normal person. Okay, fine, I will. Good. Sure. Now I gotta head to work soon. Oh, okay. How's the company doing? Google is your friend. Google is your friend. Look it up on the stock exchange or something. I was just asking out of curiosity. Since you work there, they don't pay me to satisfy your curiosity. That's on you. Look it up. But I was just making conversation. Well, I don't owe you conversation. I don't owe you anything. All right. So there. Why does it offend you so much when I ask you a simple question? It doesn't offend me. I'm not offended. You react as if you are. That's pretty presumptuous of you to assume you know how I feel about anything. I feel fine if you must know. So why do you lash out at me over a question? I'm not lashing out. I'm just doing you the favor of pointing out you can easily look it up. Google is your friend. But Google is so impersonal. Isn't it more fun to ask another human being? Isn't that what human connection is all about? Isn't it more satisfying to share questions and answers and points of view with other minds? Isn't it more progressive to have a society that openly asks questions and discusses things with nuance and exploration of ideas instead of just silencing each other? Isn't it? No, it isn't. Oh, okay. I'll tell you what it is. It's a sign of your toxic laziness and immaturity. It's a sign you can't be bothered to take responsibility to stay informed. You're so self-absorbed and devoid of empathy that you're willing to waste other people's time manipulating them with inane questions. I think you need serious psychological help. I think you need to take some time to reconsider the way you treat other people. Until you do that work on yourself, you should probably stop trying to connect with others, since you clearly have no people skills. All right, I apologize. Do you even know what you're apologizing for? For everything you just said. And I'll work on myself. Sorry, I didn't realize how you felt. Felt about what? About people asking questions. I didn't know you felt that way. But Google is your friend. What? Google is your friend. You should already know. If you looked it up, you would have found my blog, which explains everything I feel. Don't you read my blog? You know something? Sure. Google is my friend. Yes, it is. But you sure the fuck aren't. Goodbye. Hey, wait, where are you going? Come back. Oh, why am I always so lonely? Well, at least Google is my friend. Thank you. That was new stuff called Google is my friend. I have a book too. This is what my book looks like. Thank you.
Ooh, Chuck Cottrill! Ooh, lashing out with art, calling in with poetry. Yeah, get that book. I've got it in my stack. It's close to the top now. I am looking forward. Thank you. I got my copy signed even when Jeff came to Nashville. My goodness, thank you. We are welcoming a new speaker to our microphone with great thanks. Eddie Foreman, also known as Ed Poetastic.
Because you made me feel fantastic. Thank you for being so enthusiastic and bombastic. My name is Ed Poetastic, here and feeling fantastic. Please get in time so you can join my rhyme for all feel sublime. I got one poem, so you know it's gonna rhyme. The first chime is called Symphony of Poetry. Poetry is livelier than any sunflower rose, without any explanation or logic goes. The sweet symphony of pure creativity, so appreciate the effects and its sensitivity. Sharp words fly straight to the heart, rain down through skies of vivid art. Each word is covered in emotion, like fish dancing in the clear ocean, seated in a bouquet of colorful flowers, blossoming in a magnificent array of power. Writing, reading, like dancing, singing, the parade of words is only the beginning. Notebooks teleport us into a literary world, pages jumping off insightful and delightful spirals, shared by concrete or imaginative minds. Lessons grow in very personal design. The pleasure of constant desirable writing, patterns of free verse, limerick, haiku, or rhyming, reinventing tales of new, personal, and old, polishing them to shine like luminous gold. Oh, poetry, you allure me with your verbal melody. Ears full of whirly fireworks of complete harmony. The lines so in this ugly yet beautiful universe, floating words of true verse going straight on course. Please downpour us a radiant set of weather. Shower us till we're redder or feel even better. Thank you, thank you.
Oh, thank you. Finally, I get to hear you. It's phenomenal. Ed Poetastic, Eddie Foreman, thank you. Please come back. Straight to the heart indeed.
Sure, I'll come back. Don't worry, I'll place it under my hat.
Yes. Melodious.
The bruise where it's at.
Yes. I will second that. Thank you so much, Ed Poetastic, Eddie Foreman. It is fantastic to make your acquaintance, and I look to learning more about you.
Thank you for making me feel every cut of a blue.
We next welcome back to our mic. Thank you so much, Katie Thompson.
Okay, hello everybody. I have a progression of poems that I wrote actually today, right before I got on, called On Strength, a Progression of Poems. Number 1, I am stronger today, but I'm not sure about tomorrow. Swallowed up, I feel so very not. I am weak tomorrow, but I'm not sure about the next day. Hexed and spells surround, they take me down. I woke up this morning in mourning and in joy. The mixed emotions flitted through. In spite, no, I wasn't all done, not by a long shot. Lots of work fill my pots and plates, teacups, balancing, twirling, and swirling on my very worn, oiled fingers. And still yet, I feel very torn. I can do it, I can't do it. The struggle of feeling blue in my weaker moments hits me hard. What is this, humanity, you ask? Real, that's what it is. I question what causes strength. 1 minute, the abject feeling of complete fatigue and failure. The next, the same strong and weak and strong, yet none turns out it's wrong. P.S. I will say and say it loud for all of us to hear, listen up, we are indeed strong. Strength number 2. Who is it that shapes us, gives us strength that passes through and ended up on my plate to be analyzed and pilfered through? Who is it that deemed me the one who was the strong one, to be looked up like some kind of dang hero that I didn't want and caused me to fall to my own insecurity? Who will be the one to lift us up in our slight and difficult moments, saying, hey, it's okay, rest. And of these moments, remind us all that surely we will get through. Strength number 3. You might have tried to take me down or not cared how exactly what you did and how it affected me, though it was said that you really were concerned, but I did see right through it, and really by now, I'm better for it and over it, and you can stop being concerned now. Move along. Strength number 4. Kinda, I will see the other side of this calamity. Strength number 5. Yeah, F you.
Oh, that is a triumph of the series. Katie Thompson, imparting strength with your words. Thank you for putting that to word and for bringing that here to share with us. Whew, mutual benefit. Yes, thank you. Revel, revel, and boast of the strength and broadcast it. Gather those forces. We have a new reader on our mic. Thank you so much for joining us, and welcome now, Rawle James.
Thank you, and thank you, poets. One of the beauties of doing these open mics, these online open mics, is that you get to hear different perspectives of life. And I accept it. My perception, my paradigms are limited, and they're just mine. So I present these words. You can do with it as you like. Whether they're received or not is a choice I leave up to you. So I have 2 pieces. This first one is a brand new poem. It's only about 2 days old, and I'm still working on it. So it is called My Phoenix is Grounded. The dysphoria is real. As the blindfold of justice is slowly being removed, as most passively witness their own migration from common sense. Our land of freedoms more and more feel like a one-sided democratic indoctrination of obedience. We are the prize conquests, capitalistic values, for there is no empire without the people. How can a government give you something if they had not already taken it away? It's the never-ending cycle of a mindset that says someone else knows best how you should be, how you should live, and how you should die. Wake up! The truth of unsustainable policies is reinforced by the divinity of the state, as the repeated mantra of do as I say and not as I do is drilled into our repetitive lives. Once again, the dawn has brought me back to the discomfort of disillusion as my phoenix lies grounded from the volcanic ashes of ideology. More minds identify with the imposition of life, while many struggle with understanding their own perceptions. It feels like the worst of times as the days reveal the politics of correctness, as 1,000 voices look to the listening sky, hoping for an inspired exodus. Out of the grief and pain of unvetted emotions from this woke generation, control and censorship mask as freedoms while we chase an unrealistic paradise. All the while, the majority accepts the devalued narrative that yields segregation, which values shaming for those not with the flow. While in the spectrum of absence, pointing fingers and shouting debates are the hallmarks of a new democracy. What happened to our humanity? We now live in times where questioning is a phobia and common sense is on an extended vacation sunbathing by the pool of one-sided ideas. The answers we seek lies within the beauty of permanence, for change is constant. If I can only get a taste of an answer, I could overcome the hypocrisy of these times. Empathy and resiliency are not just words, but a practice that can heal this divide, for it was out of the ashes that the phoenix rose to embrace the discomfort transformation. Let us remember that respect is not just between individuals, but must exist within the institutions that govern. Otherwise, the phoenix forever be grounded in this climate of insanity, a judgment over reoccurring causes. Remember, when pointing fingers at others, you just might get stones thrown back. The times are asking us to collectively look within and to get our own house in order. Otherwise, Lady Liberty's torch will burn the house down. Freedom is not for the faint of heart. So wake up. End of poem. And then this last piece is an older piece, but it seems to be so fitting for the times we live in. It's called It Matters Not. It matters not that we walk together for me to love you, for my love reflects spirit. It matters not if you can see my love, for my love is the hope in us all. It matters not if you can hear my love, for my love is the sound that echoes eternal life. It matters not if you can feel my love, for my love beats in the hearts of all. It matters not if you know the touch of my love, for my love is the inhaled breath that inspires life. It matters not if you know of my love, for my love lives now and in all the days to come. It matters not anything, for my love for you is everything. End poem. Thank you, poets.
Oh my goodness gracious. Thank you, thank you. Rawle James. Oh, well, poet prophet with the prescient pronouncements. I mean, just strip it down to the heart of the matter, bear it all and apply the balm. Thank you very much. And, you know, I think you know, I would really love to hear more from you. And I know that any fellow poet who is able to benefit from that truly appreciates it. Thank you so much for sharing your words. Whew. Well, yeah, bowled over is the reality of it. We continue, and we are so grateful to welcome our next poet tonight. Thank you so much for being here and speaking with us. Jennifer Nuesi, pen of the people, thank you.
Hi, I didn't know I had to come right after Rawle. Like, I need to cool off. That was so good. Thank you so much for having me. It's so awesome to see new faces, old familiar faces, and I am just so happy to be here. So I'll make it really quick. I'm going to be reading two pieces from my new book titled Things. I feel like they kind of fit the mood that I'm in now. So I hope you enjoy. So here goes. Your legacy seeps within my skin, devours my insides and makes them herd. Your loud traits, your unseemly desires, to break, to throw, to burn, everything, everyone to the ground. There is never a fault with you. Victim in a state comatose, dewy eyes and choked up sobs of imaginary mishaps that led you here. When in truth, this is what you are. That is what you left me. Left me to deal with the anger, boiling like volcanic roars in my stomach. Left me with the damage of seeing imperfections in the perfect divine of I. Left me with the guilt for breathing, for seeing, for being. You left me with a pain so deep that an ocean couldn't fill. Left me with an empty so cold the sun would melt. Left me without an escape of the cage, locked up in intentions that never were my blame. This is what you left me now to give, to pass down for another to bear. Inheritance. Thank you. So I hope I have time for one more, if that's okay. Okay, cool. Okay. The signs from the universe have followed you, telling the story in heartbreaks and aches, in missed connections and tears between spaces, speaking in the grief and sighing underneath, plainly bringing out all the doubt and the truth, reassuring you there is all the view, to see what the longest tale ever told has to show, where to leave its final secret only you can behold. The signs from above and below all converge to tell you a solemn oath that's virtue. Love has forsaken the ones who hunger the most. Love has left you without no body, without no meat, without no bones, without no you. Thank you so much. I appreciate it. Thank you. I'll put some links in the chat. Thank you, thank you, thank you.
Oh, and that's a good looking book too. Jennifer Nuesi, Pen of the People, just luscious and poignant. And oh my goodness, thank you for sharing your poetry with us tonight. Yeah, give us all the details on that book. Thank you, and please come back. Welcome, hello, and thank you, Martin Parker.
Poetry night. Pardon me while I go off camera as usual to be able to see my poetry here. Is my mic working well tonight?
Sounding good to me.
Quite as profound, but for some reason I've felt for a couple poems I've written recently about some of my favorite music. This first one actually came to me at 3 a.m. yesterday morning, so I had to turn the light back on. It's about both about experiences from music in college. This one is called Stratospheric Journey. Just 25 o'clock in the cosmic confines of the Penguin Feather Record Shop, where psychedelic sounds of the Dukes fell out of the sky and did not stop. From that day forth until the end, my sister and I would never be quite the same again. We pooled our cash in order to buy the vinyl disc encased in clouds of swirling multicolor lines and fonts that did a rhythmic dance around the images filling our minds. From the song, I Put a Spell on You. Go puts a spell on me. It's about DC's indigenous music scene. Standing in line outside the doors of the nightclub 930, my very first time, we'd chat while she blew her smoke to one side. I stood there entranced against reason and rhyme. Perhaps it foreshadowed the rhythms I'd find within those walls when trouble began to rock my senses with complex beats that echo in halls that go on and fan the flames of local DC sounds erupting from backyards with essences rare, and go out to the masses from the junkyard raw, distilled from the islands and the city where this pocket was birthed from the mind of Chuck Brown. and each time I hear it, I want to get down. I have time since those were short.
Oh, yes.
This one's recent, but I've read it several places, but I don't think I've read it here yet. It's a memory of a friend of mine who introduced me to interesting music when we were both exchange students in Japan. MLR. We met on a late night train to Sendai. Upon a tag, she signed her name while standing on luggage to let people by, and added these words, "Avoid the plane." She turned beyond the frog folk tales with ice cubes as thin as the dawn of the day, while the horse she rented by mucking out stalls in her dreams like Ian was skating away. At later meetings, judgments were made with praise for a seasonal Renaissance scene whose origins into illusion would fade, and disdain for a painting described by a queen. Visions of dungeons she'd build, where dragons would fly with thread in the sky. Then casually through her lips the words spilled, by 35 she would rather die. I snapped a shot, but she turned away shy, toward clearings that forms like mountains surround, while cherry blossoms floated on by, along the former castle ground. Somewhere I still have that tag she once signed, the night we met on that crowded train. A pearl of wisdom gleaned from her mind, never to avoid the plane.
Oh, Martin Parker, thank you. Ooh, I can feel the cherry blossoms on my skin. Entranced, senses rocked, check and check. Thank you so much, Martin Parker. Ooh, jubilation, yes. Oh, you all, oh, we're getting to the end of the list. Thank you everyone for sharing your voices and your views and this time. Ooh, for supporting one another and what we carry inside and what we bring forth. We now welcome, I think this might be your first time on this particular mic. What a treat. Thank you so much and welcome, Spisak.
Thank you very much. I know it's hard to believe almost, but in our world and our society, in our country, women have been disparaged so much. I write these two poems in tribute to women, fine, brave, powerful women. This first one we know from the hearings is called A Mother and Daughter Alone. Like standing stones, this mother and daughter alone withstood the pressure of the cracked vessel. Do you know what it's like to go to bed at night knowing the president of the whole nation has stopped and dropped on your head from his high station? This scoundrel bounder named you and blamed you for doing your work during the COVID alert. He called out your name and claimed you were to blame with a vicious, snarling shout from his ruddy, muddy, red-lipped, greedy mouth. He called your name and said you're to blame for his loss, claimed and defamed you and your mom, throwing a bomb of hate at your grandmother's gate, blaming her for the cost of his loss. He placed a bomb and a price on your head, stealing sleep from your bed. The FBI came and told her to fly for a month or two, noting that doing was not they could do. The local cops, worthless to dropped, never stopped. The thugs even harassed grandma. Into her house they rushed, determined to avenge their deranged boss and the cost of the loss. Where's the cops? The FBI wise guys knew of the attack. Will they protect you or just neglect you? Charges filed, sadly denial. They could protect you. What did they really do? Promise to neglect you when the president selected you for blame? The gargantuan what's-his-name? When the hoodlums he came same around to terrorize the town, you did your job. You helped your neighbors vote. And now the president himself has set you at your throat. He told them these lies to attack you. Distract who? You left on your own, no surprise, no one to phone. When the Klan comes around, best get out of town. Again, what did they do to draw this heat? What was their crime? Tell their story complete. Well, within memory, back a few years, when just voting was a crime. Now, they worked on the vote to help their neighbors get in the boat in time. Violent threats on election workers are too common. These furious fascists would just as soon bomb them. We must stand with these caring civic workers who saw their duty despite COVID. Even when the fascists closed in, don't let them suffer. This brave daughter and mother. Okay, and the other piece is about some more very, very brave women, because we know that's who's in this world. Very brave, powerful women. This is called, in honor of those brave women from Russia, Pussy Riot, number 10. If you ever had any doubt of the nerve of this or any sort of girl, leave the trials of home birth alone or the strain of the 2 a.m. pleading baby unknown. I will praise the stuff of them who, without Barbie, without Ken, took them to a church to storm, bringing down 10,000 awful, lawful kinds of harm. Cock a snoot at Mr. P, who grinds his enemies behind the tree with his hideous, pitiless brand of poisonous glee. They took them to the church to denounce the wrongs emerged that any fool knew to say was doomed, and now tuned, groomed to a feisty song about the wrongs. Congregations genuflect, black robes brag, golden epaulets reflect, freedom's phantoms gone to heaven, gay pride's chained and in detention. There they stormed inside the church, unprotected by the breast that nurtured babies. Crazed these holy fools, who would scream at Pootie's gruesome, dangerous tools. Pootie's palace guards'll know, as he bares his teeth and grinds Eden so. The ground is littered with his dead. Did you see what these brave girls said? They aren't worried about the poison knob, demanded freedom, that's their job. Does your vagina have a brand? Let your vagina start a band. If your vagina lands in prison, then the world is gonna listen. My vagina's tough and dangerous, shaking up the major labels. Vagina gonna take the stage, 'cause vagina's got a lot to say. These brave frails with guitars and voice, they see no need of merchant noise. They shook their fist and sanely, bravely, refrainly mocked, where once upon these shores only NATO stalked, wearing no armor but their hearts, what these brave ladies dared to start. Don't play stupid, don't play dumb, vagina's where you're really from. Where you from, where you from, vagina's where you're really from. Don't play stupid, don't play dumb, vagina's where you're really from. When armies threaten and missiles poised, these soulful women put on shows. So bravely shout they taught these women fine, that all the generals and Pootie's spry craft cannot find. We saw these mass marauder girls, no makeup, fake up, blistered curls, stand up like that single man to tank in bloody Tiananmen, where the rotted corpses stank. You're electrocuting my nerves, I don't trust you today. Police baton on my ribs, I'm singing with my blood today. Through masks they denounced these dangerous fools, pronounced those who with tortures, polonium poison, prison rules. Enough, they shouted, we braved the cage, fought them for their freedom out of the stage. Whoa now, man, I'm losing focus. VJJ on, hocus pocus. Don't act like you don't notice. Girls line it like run it like the U.S. Open. Disguise the prize they're closing in, these gruesome gacks, these bloody jacks, they need a win. When throughout they've committed every heinous, blameless sin, the church, she yet welcomes Pootie in, dragging those 20 plenty bleeding, needing corpses by the skin. Compromat these fellow travelers, wear what they need, extra crucifixers, under ravels. Aliokina, arrested 7 times, unburied yet. She served her time, brave right there in Pootie's face, declined to resign, she stands in place. Instead, they stood and sang so bravely, sagely graced. Aliokina, teach your daughters her name. With brave Malala, who it seemed only wanted schoolgirl dreams. These outrageous, dangerous women no longer used like tools of fools. Aliokina, delivery girl, stepped out disguised, took on the world such jewels, no longer heeding maskless retreating task, triumphed at long last. she gave bravely Pooty a beating, though all the forces aligned, freedom conceding. Against him needing, these brave young women tried to convince him, and then in victorious song just rinsed him. They took them to the stage in glorious rage to lead their fellow Russians on to freedom's pages. Thank you.
Oh, so much thanks. Woo, woo. Rick Spisak, thank you. That is some well-placed passion there. That is where to put it and how. Thank you, thank you. Yeah. Digging in, stirring that up and spinning it out into the world. Hurrah. Oof, Pussy Riot all day and every night. Thank you. We next welcome, and thank you so much for being here, speaking with us tonight, Ray Zimmerman.
Thank you. This is my book, Healing in Conflict, which has got a lot of nice photographs in it and some poems that are pretty good too. One of them is titled Vanishing Migrant, and it's a pantoum. Named for its color, the cerulean warbler breeds in nests in Tennessee and northward. Migrates past Mexican pyramids and mariachi trumpets. Escapes to spend the winter in Colombia. Can you hear that okay? It breeds in nests in Tennessee and northward. Small but exuberant, it sings from the canopy. Escapes to spend the winter in Colombia. With vanishing habitat, fewer fly each year. Small but exuberant, it sings from the canopy. Migrates past Mexican pyramids in mariachi trumpets. With vanishing habitat, fewer fly each year. Named for its color, the cerulean warbler. And if I have time, I'll do one more poem. This is from a new booklet I'm putting together called The Tonic of Wilderness, and that's a picture of my father on the cover. He figures prominently in the book. And there's a long essay, but there's also a couple of poems. This one is titled Father. When the grandpa I never knew abandoned you and all his family, your mother parted ways with reality, ended her days in the loving arms of madness. At the orphanage, you held your sister's hand when she would not stop crying. You eased her nightly tears until sleep came. When you discovered she was gone, you had to ask where. Oh, she was adopted, was the caretaker's offhand reply. Perhaps they thought goodbyes would make things worse. You are a hard man, forged by hard times and silent. Sometimes you are as silent as your missing sister. I remember visiting Mom's youngest sister. My cousins took turns riding their horse. I took a turn and could not stay on. You made that old nag trot like a thoroughbred. Everyone said that man can really sit a horse. In your senile years, you liked to go for Sunday drives. Every time we spied horses, you pleaded with me to get you a job there. I could still work with horses, you said. Once you leaned against a rail and neighed like a horse. They trotted to you as if coming to one of their own, like mares to a stallion. Thank you.
Ray Zimmerman. The tonic of the wilderness it is. You infuse all of the wonders of the natural world. And, as long as we're going to be here, we might as well wonder at and about it. I so appreciate you. Thank you, Ray Zimmerman.
Thank you again.
Well, this brings us to the last name I have on the open mic list today. Very excited to here from this poet. And then I do believe we're going to welcome Phynne Belle back to finish that story and close us out for the night. Thank you all again so much. And welcome with me now, Chanson. Thank you, Chanson Byrd.
Good evening. So I have two haiku and a villanelle. Why must we keep score, engaging in tit for tat, nothing for nothing? Honorary boo, sweet eye candy on my arm. Where has my boo gone? And resolved, the villanelle. We all hurt one another, half of which we apologize for. I'm okay with that. With all our sins and griefs, we can all point the finger. We all hurt one another. We gave it time before we said, I'm sorry. I don't know whether you were sincere. I'm okay with that. Half of our words bruised while the other half bloodied. We all hurt one another. I'm the master of broken pieces. You've broken me too. I'm okay with that. Let's look to heaven and each other to forgive. We both have starring and supporting roles. We all hurt one another. I'm okay with that. Thank you.
Chanson, thank you. Heartfelt. Oh, uplifting and resonant. Hitting some home bases there. Thank you, Chanson. Thank you so much.
Thank you.
Again, thank you, everyone, for bringing forth what you got. It is what saves the world. I believe that. I believe in all of you. And I thank you for believing in yourselves and this world enough to make poetry the reality of this night. And as we carry forward and on, I'm going to welcome back now and thank you so much, Phynne Belle, to finish that story. And then we will all unmute and say goodnight.
Thank you so much, Christine. Okay, so here it goes. I think this is where I stopped off. Ed eyed the roof on the closest house and wondered if it would be rude to eat somebody else's chimney. Obviously, it would be impolite to eat a whole house, but perhaps it would be considered acceptable to nibble the odd fixture or lick the odd fitting in a time of need. As Ed was contemplating his plan, a cackle pierced the silence, giving Ed a fright. A witch jumped into the space in front of the houses. She was carrying a golden bird cage. In that cage was Popcorn, the miniature stub-tailed unicorn. Popcorn, yelled Ed. He turned to the witch. That's my toy. The witch just shrugged. Give her back. She belongs to me, cried Ed. Not on your sweet nibblings, said the witch, now sizing up Ed and licking her lips. Please, please, implored Ed. At least let Popcorn out of the cage. He doesn't like small spaces. Before she could reply, the stylish troll in the orange necktie rushed in from a footpath on the other side of the clearing. Why, hello, Cornelius, said the witch. Good morning, Clotilda. The troll noticed Popcorn. And what have we here? This is Popcorn, the miniature stub-tailed unicorn, and he is mine now, and I love him to pieces, explained the witch. Ooh, Popcorn would look lovely in my house. Give it to me, demanded the troll. The witch vehemently shook her head. This delicious dumpling-shaped unicorn stays with me. Excuse me, Ed interrupted, but Popcorn already lives with me, and might I add, not in a cage. The troll rolled his eyes dramatically, ignoring Ed. Is there nothing you'll trade? He asked the witch. The witch thought about this for a moment and said, I do like to be entertained. Here's what, I'll release him to anybody who can eat a whole front door to one of my houses. Cornelius the troll looked at the house made from Super Burrito and said, no problem, I could eat an entire house made from Super Burrito if I wanted to. Well, there's no need to show off, grumbled the tetchy witch. Simply devour one of my front doors and I'll let you have Popcorn, the miniature stub-tailed unicorn. Ed watched, feeling very worried. He really didn't want the witch to give popcorn to the troll. He wasn't certain if his favorite toy unicorn would like living with the fashionista troll, trying on new outfits and playing runway all day long. He would miss his other stuffed toy friends. Cornelius the troll took great care to tuck away his gaily printed scarf and put on his bib, withdrawing a knife and fork from his pocket. "I'll eat this whole house," said the troll. "Just you watch." Cornelius put off a corner of the front door of the house and made from Super Burrito. He gulped it down, smiling, and then he went back for more. And then more. And then more. Eventually, the troll started to get bigger, just a little bit bigger at first. But after a few more forkfuls of Super Burrito, he grew to the size of a large snowball, and he was every bit as round. I don't feel so good," groaned Cornelius. Suddenly he started to roll. He had grown so round that he could no longer balance. "Help!" he cried as he rolled off down a slope into the thick gloom of the forest. Cornelius, the fashionable forest troll, ended up never finishing the front door made from Super Burrito. And so for now, Popcorn, the miniature stub-tailed unicorn, remained trapped in the witch's cage. "That's it," said the witch. "I win. I get to keep the gourmet popcorn unicorn." "Not so fast," exclaimed Ed. "There is still one front door to go, the front door of the house made from broccoli, and I haven't had a turn yet." "I don't have to give you a turn," laughed the witch. "My game. My rules." The bloated troll's voice carried through the forest. "I think you should give him a chance. It's only fair." "Fine," said the witch. "But you saw what happened to Cornelius. You won't last long." "I'll be right back," said Ed. "What?" said the witch. "Where's your sense of impatience? I thought you wanted your precious popcorn back." Ed ignored the witch and gathered a hefty pile of sticks. He came back to the clearing and started a small campfire. Carefully, he broke off a piece of the door of the house made from broccoli and toasted it over the fire. Once it had cooked and cooled just a bit, he took a bite. He quickly devoured the whole piece. Ed sat down on a nearby log. "You failed the challenge," cackled the witch. "You were supposed to eat the whole door." "I haven't finished," Ed calmly explained. "I am just waiting for my food to go down." When Ed's food had digested, he broke off another piece of the door made from broccoli. Once more, he toasted his food over the fire and waited for it to cool just a bit. He ate it at a leisurely pace, then waited for it to digest. Eventually, after several sittings, Ed was down to the final piece of the door made from broccoli. Carefully, he toasted it and allowed it to cool off just a bit. He finished his final course. Ed had eaten the entire front door of the house made from broccoli. The witch stamped her foot incensed. "You have tried to trick me," she said. "No rewards to cheaters." "Oh, come on now, Clotilda," said a voice. It was the dapper troll Cornelius, once again down to his normal size. He walked back into the clearing, fiddling with his lovely flowing necktie. He beamed for the time it took for Ed to completely consume the broccoli door. Cornelius had found his coordinating person, Boots, and this made him very happy. This little boy won fair and square. "Now hand over Popcorn, the miniature stub-tailed unicorn, or I will have to eat you and the rest of your house." Clotilda the witch looked horrified. She took several steps back. Then, huffing, she opened the door of the cage. Ed hurried over and grabbed Popcorn, checking that his favorite toy was all right. Fortunately, Popcorn, the miniature stub-tailed unicorn, was unharmed. Ed thanked the troll, who smiled and gave a saucy wink, grabbed his quick souvenir, and hurried on to meet Rosita. It was starting to get dark. When Ed got to Rosita's house, his best friend threw her arms around him. "Oh my God, I was so worried," cried Rosita. "How did it come that you are so very late?" As Ed described his day, he could tell that Rosita did not believe him, so he grabbed a napkin from his pocket. "What's that?" said Rosita. Ed unwrapped a doorknob he had nicked from the Super Burrito cottage. "Dinner," he said. Rosita almost fell out of her chair. The end. Oh my God, that was great. That was silly.
Such magical joys you lavish upon us. Thank you, Phynne Belle. Thank you for coming back.
Thank you for humoring me.
I don't know. I just am overflowing with things. And Yeah, true appreciation for leaving us on that splendid note. Everyone, let's unmute and say good night. Thank you again all for making this such a momentous evening.
Good night.
Wonderful
Thank
night.
you.
Thank you.
Have a good night, everyone.
Good night.
Take care till next month.
Yes. Take good care of your precious selves.
Good morning, everyone.
Good morning. Good morning. And into a new day we go.
Bye-bye.
Totally love that. Thank you very, very much. I've absolutely had a wonderful evening.
It was brilliant to have you join us. Thank you. And please, really, really please, anytime you feel moved to join us, the time aligns. Oh, we welcome you with so much thanks.
Yes, really appreciate you bringing back the brew, by the way, if only once a month. It's really something very special and precious to us.
Oh, thank
It
you
is
for
indeed.
all of you for
Yes.
contributing.
The
Yeah.
Brew is such a wonderful, potastic, energetic breakthrough. Woo!
And even more so now with you here. Thank you, Ed Poetastic.
Aw, thank you for having me here. You're gonna lead me to tears.
I did that already a couple times. I'm hoping I'm getting the cleansing going on. My soul has felt so soggy and just.
Yeah.
Oh, you all are marvelous people. Thank you for imbuing the world with your wisdom. Oh, get up.
All because of you.
I mean, we are here together. We share this earth. We share our presence. We magnify. We exponentiate. It's the real deal.
Exponentiate to elevate.
Yes, elevate!
We're elevate! Woo!
Oh, good night. Good morning, you all. I'm gonna go.
Good night, see tight. Anything, Mike.
Dinner.
You're such a delight.
See you next time.
My
Share
son-
all your news.